Who's your emergency contact? Who should we notify in the case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I spent the last 2+ decades of my life. I'm in Atwater. For me, being in a California prison, and specifically Atwater, it was almost home. Closest to home I can get geographically, but also at home because there's a lot more Asians and Islanders in Atwater. When you head out to the East Coast, when I was in Beaumont, there's like 9 of us. You know, when I was just in Florence, when I got there, there was 9 of us, but then I chopped the population in half. But you'll have to wait for that story when I get to Florence. But I have a lot of homies out there that I've been done time with in other spots, Lompoc and Victorville, so it was all love. You know, after I settled all my issues, my prior issues that I've had with their co-defendants, with their homeboys through the course of my bid, I was able to settle in. But the reason I was able to settle my issues because after they heard the whole story, they knew that I was in the right. And being a man, we understand that there's certain things that we have to deal with, and there's certain ways that we have to deal with certain things. So I didn't have any issues with any of the homies over there. And I was able to settle in and get into my routine. The homie fam, he's a Vietnamese homie out of Kansas. I would describe it as almost like a sociopath. Like, I really believe that I'm one of the first real friends he ever had. He's not very sociable. He does his own thing. He doesn't really participate in anything. But he's never tried to be anybody else other than him. And if you ever had any business dealings with him or any agreement with him, he always kept it 100. So in essence, he's a good dude, and we became friends through the course of my time over there in Atwater. But it took me a minute to get him out of his shell because, you know, a lot of people that go in the penitentiary, they always try to keep people at arm's length because they don't know that if that other person has an agenda, why they're befriending you. But for me, there's nothing that anybody have that I want enough to fake being their friends to get. And everything that somebody has, I feel I can get it on my own. So I don't need to do all the extra shit. When I press up on you or something, it's because you done something foul and I feel I need to be compensated for it. But other than that, if I'm your friend, it's genuine. And, you know, again, you guys read the comments and stuff on these episodes, people comment on episodes. There's a lot of them out there that's done time with me. And you don't have to take my word for anything that I say here because I emphasize if I exaggerate anything, if I fabricate anything, anybody that's ever been anywhere with me is welcome to call me out on it. So at the end of the day, I'm not worried about it because there's no pretending over here. I tell you, I'm nobody. I'm just a kid from Utah trying to survive my environment. But at the same time, I believe in a code of conduct. At the same time, I believe in conducting myself in a certain way. I have standards. And 99% of the time, I try to live up to those things. I'm nowhere near perfect, but when I shake your hand, when I agree to do something, when I make a deal with you, the only way I'm not going to fulfill it is if I'm dead. Because I would never make those agreements in the beginning if I know I can't do it. So being that way allowed me to move around the yard and kick it with everybody and do whatever I want. And I got into a routine because I like to drink, I like to smoke, and it was plentiful. It was always there. So that was my daily routine. I get up, smoke me a joint, go find me a batch of wine, and go kick it. Go play handball. My homeboy Billy ran a poker table on the yard. I got my homeboy Fam. He runs a store in the unit. I got homies in other blocks that run football tickets and basketball tickets. So it was a lot of hustle that I can get in. And all of them opened their doors for me if I wanted to get in and help them running the poker table or running their ticket or whatever. I could do that, you know. Atwater was wide open. My homeboy T-Bone, that I told you about in prior episode, he lived in 3B. And, you know, this is before I knew how to cook. You know, I tried to cook fried rice one time when I first got to Atwater. My homie Billy bought me a bowl. You know, it's a plastic bowl you get out of medical. And I was trying to fry rice, and I end up like burning a hole in the bowl. Then another time, you know, you can fry rice in the microwave because they're like minute rice, you know, so it doesn't take much. But my dumb ass went and got some kitchen rice. We call it kitchen rice, which is the real rice with the hard grain. And I tried to fry that from the hard grain in the microwave, and I was at the microwave for like 2 hours. It didn't work out. We had to dump the whole thing. But in Atwater, I was able to settle in because I was there for 7 years. So through the course of my bid, I learned how to cook. You know, I try to do, you know, cook things that remind me of home. Now, I like to tell people this is my mom's recipe minus the ingredients, you know. But we had a pretty good routine. Every day after dinner, we all meet up in 3B in my homeboy T-Bone's house unit, and he had food laid out for us, you know, whatever he was cooking that day. But sometimes I was a little hesitant to eat some of the stuff he was cooking because he was picking that shit from the yard. They had some mushrooms that was growing out on the freaking yard that he picked to cook. And I'm like, homie, that's not, I don't think that's edible. He goes, yeah, I've been eating it. I'm not dead. I was like, I don't know. And then there were some other herbs and some other plants that was growing wild on the yard by the native sweat lodge that he was picking and he was putting in his food, you know. But for the most part, it was good. And I used to, I was on restriction because I refused to pay my FRP. That's my fines and restitution. You know, I didn't pay it because I'm doing 26 years. What the hell I'm going to give these people my money for? So refusing to pay my FRP, they put me on restriction and only allowed me to go to commissary $25 a month. I never needed commissary. Everything I wanted was available to me because I hustled. So I just buy it from the next person, or I would send money to somebody else and have them go shopping for me. So my little $25 a month, I just buy the food or whatever, and I give it to my homeboy T-Bone. He put it in his unit because every dinner, almost every day, we all up in his unit eating. Mm-hmm. So, you know, everything in the penitentiary isn't chaos and violence. That stuff happens every day. But you have to settle in and try to make the best of it. And for the most part, I was able to. And I can even say, at times, I had a lot of fun. You know, like I said, when I first came into Atwater, all the homies was divided into the different races, different regions or whatnot. And these are the Asian Islander homies. But I was there for about a month. And then my homeboy Bryson left Hawaii and came back. You know, my homeboy Bryson had a life sentence when we was in Lompoc. And the day I got hit in the head with a hammer in Lompoc was the day he went back to court. And when he went back to court, he got his life sentence dropped down to 25 years. So the day he came out, when he came out, they had him in his shoe for about 30 days because they were afraid of him. Because of the stuff that he was got into in Ocean Pacific, I think in the federal holding out there in Hawaii. You know, he got into a riot, and then he broke 2 wreck cages. So it's understandable that these staffs and administrations was fearful of him. But we knew he was back there, so we kept going there, asking him to let him out, and whatnot. And finally let him out. Now, the last time I seen Bryson, he was 300 plus pounds, long ass hair, you know. You see it when I'm able to figure it out and show you guys pictures and stuff. He's already a big ass dude, but every time we take pictures, he's always on his toes like this, like, you know, like it's unnecessary. You're already bigger than everybody else, right? So on this particular day, they call a move. I'm walking through the walk and I see somebody walk by me. He's like, oh, bro, what's up, bro? I look, you know, it's been years. Last time I seen him was 2002, 2003. Now we're in 2008. And I'm like, oh, bro, you don't remember me, bro? And I look and the face looked familiar, but the dude I'm looking at is 185 pounds, skinny, bald, no hair. And I was like, Bryson? Yeah, bro, it's me, bro. I say, what the fuck happened? Oh, bro, they starved me. He's like, you know, after the riot and after he broke the red cages, they had him locked up in his shoe, 23-1. They let him out for rec 3 times a week for an hour at a time, and they're not feeding you shit. So he shrunk. He was 180 pounds, but he was healthy. So, oh, bro. So, you know, it was good to see old face. And me and him, of all the people that I've been in the penitentiary with, I think I became closest with him. You know, and I think the reason I was able to build a relationship with him is because we both have the same heart and same mind. And through the course of our time, he's seen, even though I'm just a little guy, my heart is big. And that I've always stood up for whatever was necessary. And I've always handled my business. You know, because Bryson, he's invincible. You can't hurt him, like literally. And he's got hands. He's all that. He's one of the most feared dudes in the federal system. Anybody that's ever been on a yard with him, there was nobody on that yard that could ever beat him up or deal with him. But again, he's one of the most genuine and humble individuals that you're ever going to meet. And I think through the course of our time, I was able to earn his love and respect. And we're still very good friends to this day. And our everyday routine since he was on a yard, he lived over in 6A, but every day, as soon as the door cracked, he was in my block. In my unit in 2A, we have the corner cells. We have 4 of the corner cells, and the hallways goes like this. But every day, I just put up a chair to block the hallway here, not the hallway, but the tier. I would put 2 chairs to block this tier, come from this way, and I put two chairs on the tier coming this way because there's no reason for you to be back in that corner. You don't live back there. We live there. My homie Billy lived in 19. My homie Leighton Bora, he's Guamanian, lived in 18. Fam lived in 17. I live in 20. You know, we had the whole corner locked down. And one of the homies always have a batch in their cell. Bryson comes in, we go up in the corner, set up, because right there is a window that we can watch the yard. And the door stayed open in that water. You know, they open it for, you have 10-minute moves, but half the time they never close the door. So you're always be able to go, you know, walk around in and out. It was nice compared to Beaumont where I was in. So we were just able to kick it all day. The COs wasn't tripping that you were coming into another block kicking it. Because like I said, after dinner, or when they called dinner, all of us would end up in T-Block's unit eating food, whatever he cooked. But through the course of the rest of the day, me and Bryson and Pooey would be in my block drinking. But, you know, before Bryson came it was just me and Pooey and maybe one or two other dudes, me, Pooey, and Layton drinking. But when Bryson came, all the other Hawaiians started coming too. And I'm just like, hey, bro, what's up with these guys, bro? He's like, oh, I don't know, bro. They say they know me, but I only know you. I said, hey, if you can keep letting these dudes come with you, they better start bringing some wine with them, you know, better bring something to drink. And he told him, and they did. And so, you know, that's what I did with my daily routine. We just kick it and drink. And it's just, you get a sense of relief because, you know, being in a penitentiary is miserable. And I'm fortunate enough that I was able to meet a lot of good people in there and to be able to make some good times and good memories with the people around me. You know, the system, they want you in there to be miserable. They want you to hate life. But you have to make the best of your situation. And we did, for the most part. You know, we started creating a structure over there in Atwater. Like I said, if somebody comes off the bus and they declare they're a homie, then they're the homie, regardless of what race they are. Once their paperwork checked out, they're the homie. And if you have beef with somebody, go holler at them. Because us Asian and Islander, we really don't have a hands-off policy. For me, if you're my homeboy and you bump your gums, then you better be willing to deal with what's got coming. If you talk shit, disrespect somebody, and that dude's trying to see you, man, you better go handle that shit. If not, shut the fuck up. Because we hold each other to certain standards. You know, we expect certain behaviors from the people around us. That's why we're able to do the things that we do in the penitentiary, because we're respected by other groups and other gangs, because they understand that how we conduct ourselves. They understand we have standards and certain things we don't accept, certain things we don't tolerate. We don't accept child molesters. We don't accept rapists. We don't accept rats. Welcome to the USP.